Hi there, welcome to What's Happening in Brazil. Let's start with the latest news from the country.
On June 23rd, Ricardo Salles resigned from his position as Environment Minister. He is being investigated in a case involving the illegal export of wood from the Amazon. Beyond this, over the 2 years in which he headed the agency, Salles gained notoriety for dismantling environmental oversight entities, for attacks against organizations such as Greenpeace, and for the loosening of environmental rules. In a ministerial meeting that happened in April of last year, he went as far as affirming that the government should have taken advantage of the coronavirus crisis to let the herd through in the Amazon, a reference to large-scale agribusiness. Last year, Brazil registered a record number of wildfires, especially in the Pantanal region. Due to budget cuts imposed by Salles, fighting the wildfires was made that much harder. Álvaro Pereira Leite will take over the ministry. He has ties to agribusiness, besides being a Bolsonaro supporter and having backed the Salles administration. A classified document obtained by the Parliamentary Oversight Commission into COVID-19 shows that the Brazilian government would have paid an above-market price for the Indian vaccine Covaxin. In August of 2020, a communique from the Brazilian embassy in Delhi stated that each dose of the inoculation would cost $1.34 in Brazil. However, in February of this year, the sale was closed at $15 per shot. Instead of buying the doses directly from the Indian producer, the vaccines were purchased with a Brazilian laboratory as a middleman. On June 22nd, Congressman Luiz Miranda revealed that he had alerted President Jair Bolsonaro about the alleged fraud. The congressman's brother works in the Health Ministry's Import-Export Department. According to the lawmaker, Bolsonaro promised to ask federal police to investigate the case, but nothing was done. The federal government, for its part, denied the accusations and demanded that the congressman be investigated. The Health Ministry affirmed that payment for the vaccines will only occur after they are delivered, which has not yet happened.
In Brazil, identified as antifascist may end up in a court case. This is what is happening with students from the educational system in the state of Ceará. They are being accused of electoral crimes for giving speeches about fascism during the 2018 election period.
Since the start of its mandate, the Bolsonaro government has been piling up lawsuits and investigations against activities critical of the government and authoritarianism in general. A well-known case of this is that of YouTuber Felipe Neto, who was called to give statements to the police after calling Bolsonaro genocidal. In this climate of persecution, an old case has resurfaced. Students and professors at the Ceará State University were forced to give statements to the police. The motive is a public class given during the 2018 election period about fascism. The accusers are other students from the university who said they felt consternated in their beliefs due to the content of the talks. Francisco Luciano Teixeira Filho is one of the professors who has been accused and says he is surprised by the complaint.
In a statement, one of the students even said that none of the accused addressed or tried to personally coerce him. He only says that he felt coerced. They are really trying to silence us, to intimidate us. They know this won't go anywhere because any minimally alphabetized person knows there is no proof.
In 2018, the Ceará Public Ministry invalidated the lawsuit. However, now, the accusers are trying to frame their complaint within the scope of electoral laws, alleging the use of violence to coerce someone to vote or not, as explained the attorney for the accusers.
What we have is a vast material showing threats and harassment by these professors on social media, inflamed speeches on campus grounds, in one of which there was even the brandishing of a cold weapon.
However, for this lawyer, who is a member of the Brazilian Association of Jurists for Democracy, the accusations don't hold up.
If you read the complaint, you'll be amazed at how it's got nothing. It's just a pile of accusations with no proof at all. There are no names, no identification whatsoever. It says there was a threat, but the threat was issued in a bathroom because someone wrote "Death to Fascists" on the wall, meaning it's all very vague, very imprecise.
From my end, I'm gonna continue giving my classes, continue talking about fascism. I believe it's an essential issue for Brazilian society, and I have a societal function in this nation. My consciousness is absolutely at ease that I'm not using violence or serious threat in order to coerce someone to vote or not.
In the state of Maranhão, a game born during the times of slavery today is part of a Brazilian immaterial heritage. It is the drum of Crayola, a devotional musical celebratory and dance tradition.
The accelerated percussion gives life to the drum of Crioula game, a tradition from the state of Maranhão born during the times of slavery.
After work in the fields, they would get together and the drumming would begin here in Maranhão already. It didn't come from Africa. What came from Africa were the enslaved, who brought with them their onward vision, which carries this direct relationship with nature and the celebration, praising their gods through parties and drums and liveliness.
The drum of Crioula is very much tied to devotion to Saint Benedict. It is even very common for the dancers, known as coreiras, to join the circle carrying an image of the saint. You need to have a lot of hip movement to dance the drum of Crioula, a game that is full of symbolism and rituals, like the umbigada or the punga, linked to female fertility.
Dancing drum of Crioula isn't easy. Some people can get it. The compass, the way we move, but you can learn how to. I did.
In most ensembles within the state capital of São Luís, only the women dance and the men play instruments and sing. However, in the state's countryside, there is more variety.
We then see women playing the instruments. There are municipalities where homosexuals dance dressed as women, men dancing the drums in skirts.
Since the 60s, the drum of Crioula has consolidated itself as a cultural product of Maranhão. The performances, many times sponsored by the government, attract tourists and generate income. But the groups maintain their love and respect for the tradition.
To us, the drum of Crioula is a symbol of resistance, black resistance, religious resistance.
You are synchronized with the dancers. You have this thing with seeing each other, the energy flowing, the joy, the smile. You almost get to a moment of trance. You travel through the rhythm. It's as if you lift up from the floor, playing the drum of Crioula.
And now it's time for Brazilianese.
A receita de hoje.
Today's recipe is made with the season's favorite fruit, persimmon. I'm going to make a really easy dessert with it. This cream right here, which ends up with a mousse-like texture and we can prepare in 5 minutes. The more mushy persimmons that are a little riper, I'll keep aside to add to the cream. The ones that are more firm, I'll cut it into pieces and I'll keep aside to prep the cups. We won't be using any sugar. All the sugar in the recipe comes from the persimmon, so the more ripe it is, the sweeter it is. It will make our recipe tastier. I'm gonna put a little of the cut persimmon in each of these cups. Everything's here, so what will I do? I'm gonna mix the persimmons with the creamer. I've already mentioned that this recipe is quite simple, but it has its tricks. It is best to use fresh creamer. If you're going to use canned cream of milk, you must drain the extra liquid before mixing it. If not, the result will be a thin, watery mousse. It won't be nice. I'll show you guys how the texture should be like. Have a look. It's already hardened, it's already at the correct texture. I'll put some in each of the cups. And now all you need to do is wrap things up with cocoa nibs or with nuts if you prefer. You can use walnuts, hazelnuts, Brazil nuts, cashew nuts. You can also prepare it without any.
Like the show, so hit the like button and share with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive notification. We will see you next week.